All right, everybody, welcome back. Here I have a video titled, You've Been Brainwashed to Think You Need to Work. Let's see what he's talking about.
You have been tricked into thinking that you need to work in order to have what you want, in order to do what you want, in order to be rich, in order to be free, in order to be abundant. But it's just not true.
And that's the worker's mindset, really like a lot of the blue collar household mindset. You have to work extremely long hours in order for you to get the things that you want, because that's what you've been taught and that's what you've seen.
It's a conditioning, it's a limitation which you've picked up somewhere in your life that suggests that you need to struggle, work hard, through experience, through time, through effort, you can earn what you want. But what really is abundance? What really does it mean to be rich? If we strip it down to its most essential form, it is to be able to do what you want when you want, without limitation, without constraint. And that...
I think that's true. If you guys remember the last millionaire video that I made, he made a whole bunch of money and then he was like, well, now what? And it's like, exactly. Most people have no idea what they would do if they had all the money. They're so focused on trying to get the money, trying to make the money. It's like, what happens afterwards? Most people don't think about that. And that's why for me personally, I started with what I would do first and then go ahead and chase the money, because now I have a reason why I'm doing it in the first place.
That is a feeling. That's not a circumstantial dependency. You're not needing anything in order to be able to do what you want when you want. That's a feeling. That's a choice. That requires will. That requires imagination. That requires determination. That requires confidence. That requires conviction and faith. That requires creativity. And that's why money is actually sort of an illusion, because money is not the real currency. Creativity is the real currency. How creative?
I would say creativity, yes. I would say value. I would say entertainment, right? There are guys right now who wake up, go out to work 50, 60 hours a week, and they make some money. But again, then you have other people like some content creators who are just degenerates. They drink, they smoke, they gamble, and they just live stream it. And then tons of people are just throwing cash at them. Maybe you know them. If you don't, then it's very easy to look up. And these people are making 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month, not really doing anything. And so it's like, where's the disconnect with that? Because both of those people earn money. And if we break it down, the person who's waking up, working 50, 60 hours a week, they're more valuable. But the marketplace is saying that this guy who live streams his degeneracy, he's more valuable than the other guy. And that's where you kind of look at, like, this system isn't based off of doing the right thing. It's simply, what can I provide for the next person? And the average person, they don't really care about anything other than being entertained, man.
Creative you are and how willing you are to act on your creativity is actually the truest, purest, most abundant form of currency that there is. Money is just a symbol. And all too often we're waiting for money in order to do the things that we want to do. We're waiting for money to be the permission slip to suggest that now we can act. Now we can move forward. Now we can be who we want to be. But if abundance is the ability to do what you want when you want, and that's a feeling, right? It's a state of being. It's a choice. To be able to do what you want when you want is not limited to your circumstance, not limited to anything in a situation. It's not limited to a symbol. There are so many examples of people doing the things that you say you want, having the things that you say you want, and having gotten there without the means that you say that you need in order to get there.
And I remember when I first learned this, right? Because ever since, I would say 15, 16, I was working. And I would just work, because I always thought that's what it takes, and that's what you have to do. And so that's what I did. And it wasn't until I had a good little savings account, and then one day I was like, you know what? I'm switching jobs anyway because I was moving. And so I was like, let me take about a month off. And I remember just a random Tuesday, usually I'm at work, And I remember just sitting down, having a pizza slice and a beer. I don't really drink, but still, I had to be, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like enjoying my Tuesday. It was like 12:30, and I looked around, and I was looking at all the people who are also enjoying, and I'm like, don't these people have jobs? But again, it's like, no, not everybody has a job. Not everybody has to get up in the morning like you do, sit through traffic, and earn money. And that's where I started going down my path of like, how do these people earn money? Like, how do these people earn money without putting in 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week like I am?
That right there is a testament to the power of imagination, to the power of creativity, and the will to act on it. The will to act on the inspiration, which is actually at the heart, which is going to lead you to what it is that you say you want. And right baked into this conditioning of lack and limitation and waiting and needing to earn and working hard and struggling is this sort of combative, conflictive framing, languaging of what's needed. And it's all sort of framed in a zero sum or a net loss or a someone has to lose in order for me to win kind of a mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's right there in the beliefs. We only need to look to our collective beliefs around money. For example, money is the root of all evil, or it's for the top 1%, it's for the rich, it's for the elite, but it's not for everyone else. Or money doesn't grow on trees. In other words, it's finite. But
And that's 100% true, because that's one of the things that as men you have to go through. You have to go through an unlearning process in your life and a relearning process. It's simply realizing that all the information that you were getting growing up wasn't accurate. And the sad thing is, a lot of that information you have as your beliefs. You know, some guys say, oh, I can't get women because I'm 5'7". It's like, oh, I can't get women because of this, or I can't get money because of this, or I can't. And it's so many limiting beliefs. And it wasn't until I started getting on the call with these guys where I started like, okay, what do you want in the next 6 months, the next year? And these guys would tell me like, oh, I would say this, but this. And I'm like, I was like, when it comes to your goals, you could put anything you want down. And the amount of people who hold themselves back in an exercise like that is astounding. I'm like, bro, just because you wrote it down doesn't mean you're going to get it, but at least have the imagination, play around with it and say like, oh, you know, this will be nice. And you know, that's the thing that you realize. Most guys don't write down what they really want because they don't think they could get it. And then I took those guys and I said, listen, if you write down what it wants and we start attacking it, what's going to happen? And usually, most times, you're going to get the goal that you want.
money is just energy. Money is just a symbol for the energy, which is that feeling, that state of being, which is what really produces the effect of abundance, the effect of freedom, the effect of what it looks like in our life when we embody that creative, imaginative way of being, way of living, which is just in time. Have what you need when you need it, not a moment sooner and not a moment too late. That's because it's a mirror, a reflection of where you're coming from, of the energy that you've embodied, that feeling that you're stepping into. And that is that belief in its energetic form. We think that beliefs are these sort of mental things which contain us based on the way that our mind is constructed. But that's just the mental level. Really, the way that beliefs control us is through our feelings. And so when we think about money is the root of all evil, or doesn't grow on trees, or it's for them but not for me, what is the feeling in that belief? It's fear. It's limitation. It's procrastination. It's lack. It's separation. It's survival. And that's why I continually, persistently talk about this idea of investigate your beliefs. Because when you really hone in on your belief systems, the construct of your self-concept, which is really rooted in feeling, the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with reality is fundamentally rooted in a feeling. It's in the emotional quality of that relationship. And it's those feelings which dictate your thoughts. It's those feelings which dictate your actions. They control your relationships. They influence your habits. They literally dictate your choices and your decisions. And so when you investigate your beliefs to get to the root of how you relate to abundance, Because abundance is what you are. You don't create it. You allow it. You allow the abundance by removing, dissolving, letting go of the limitations, the interferences, the beliefs which are incongruent with the abundance that you are. We're only ever limiting, filtering that abundance from being, from allowing it to just flow. And that is what inspires. That is what is the fluid, the energy, the juice of that creativity, that imagination. But if you're contracted, if you're buying into and believing in these limitations, in these lacks, all these different ways of lack, then your whole system is contracted. It's limited. It's confined. And that energy of abundance, which manifests itself as money, as opportunity, as synchronicity, as relationships, as health, as vitality, as fill in the blank with whatever it is that you want, it's not allowed to flow freely. And when you restrict that energy from flowing freely, you experience lack. You experience separation. You experience the fear of needing to survive and earn your way to freedom, to abundance, to the life that you want to live. But it's all for lack of investigating your beliefs.
And this is one of those things where if you're not dedicated to changing, it'll never change. And the quickest way to change this is being around people who already hold the beliefs that you want, right? They have that saying where it's like birds of a feather flock together. It's like if you're broke, you're usually hanging around broke people. If you're able to hang around rich people or people who are able to generate a high amount of income, it's going to rub off on you simply because you're going to start copying their actions. You're going to start copying their mannerisms. You're going to start copying how they speak, how they look at opportunity. It's just going to happen over time. And so that's why when people say, why would I pay for a coach or why would I pay for a community? It's because you're getting access to that energy. And some people, they need to be told like, bro, stop thinking that way and just do this. Don't think about it. Just do what I tell you to do. And personally, I'll be the first one to say this. When I went through that, when I invested in myself through a coach and he was like, just do this. He was like, don't think about it, just do that. My life completely, it was instantly something I've been battling for months, years. In that moment, I just allowed it to happen. And that's how a lot of guys are. A lot of things in your life can happen. But if you're not going to allow it to happen, it's not going to happen. And if you're always in this constant fight of going back and forth, you need outside help.
It's all for lack of sincere, earnest, honest investigation into what you believe about yourself and about life. And that's why you need only look at your reality to see what you're believing. But it requires self-honesty, which is one of the rarest qualities in humanity. Honestly, it really is. It's one of the rarest qualities in people, because of this survival mechanism, of this fear-based belief paradigm. We are constantly trying to preserve ourselves, keep ourselves safe, not leave the comfort zone of our self-perception, because then we risk alienation, we risk death, we risk everything about who we think we are. But that's all an illusion. It's all coming from the belief that we're identified with. And if you have the self-honesty to investigate your reality, your paradigm, you will see everything that you've been desiring over what you say that you desire. Because anything that's in your current reality right now that you're experiencing, that you say that you don't want, you do want it. Mm-hmm. You're prioritizing that over what you say you want. Otherwise, you wouldn't be experiencing it. Nobody.
And that's a hard truth that a lot of guys don't want to face. If you're struggling right now, it's because you believe that you should be struggling. And it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I believe that I don't struggle anymore, and then you don't struggle anymore. It's one of those things where it's like, where are you investing your time, your attention, your energy at? And most people are investing it into things that solidify their story of struggling. You get what I'm saying?
Nobody else is putting it there. Nobody else is forcing you to experience it. It is you. It is your choice. It is your priority and lack of awareness of your priorities and desires, which is containing you to that. And that's why it's all about self-honesty and exploring and investigating your beliefs to see what it is that you are wanting more than freedom, more than abundance, more than the true ability with creativity, with imagination, which is inherent, which is what you are, to just live the life that you want.
And people make this a lot more complicated than it really is. It's simply, a lot of guys will say they want a six pack. And it's like, no, you want to enjoy mozzarella sticks. And it's like, a lot of guys say they want this. And it's like, no, you would rather do that. Because if we look at your actions the past 7, 14, 21, 28 days, what they're saying is you enjoy the taste of bad foods more than the reward of losing weight. You get what I'm saying? And that's where it's like, when you realize this isn't some giant thing and it's really just where you're spending your time and attention and the excuses you make for it, that's when we start to like, okay, let me unlearn this, and then start introducing change.
To create what you want, to act on your inspiration, to follow that breadcrumb trail and have what you want when you want it, not by needing anything first, but by having conviction and confidence in yourself, having faith in life, trusting, not trusting in anything, but just trusting, because you've seen through the illusion of separation that there is anyone else to distrust. When that whole illusion dissolves, that there's you and others, that there's you and a God which is judging you, or life which is holding things back from you, from a universe which is somehow mistreating you or trying to teach you a lesson of some kind. When all of that, which is a victim mindset, which is a believing that you're on the receiving end of life, when all of that falls away and you take responsibility and ownership for what you're creating, for who you're being, then you have conscious power to be free, to be abundant, to be rich, to live the way that you want.
Or as I like to say, you decide to be the leader of your own life. When you're the leader of your own life, the first rule of leadership is everything is your fault. If everything is your fault, it's up to you to figure out and say, okay, what do I need to do different? Where are my opportunities for growth? Because once you write down your goals and things, the universe that is your life starts to mix and make a pathway for you that gives you opportunity to be successful. And a lot of guys, when that opportunity, when they're met with that, we find out what they really want. They don't want the clean diet. They want the dirty diet. They don't want a real woman. They want a screen. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things like that. A lot of people like to think it's like this holier than thou thing. And it's like, no, bro, it's the choices that you decide to make in the moment when you have the opportunity to be successful in whatever it is that you're trying to do.
But without that responsibility, without that radical ownership of being at the source, of recognizing and claiming that you are the creator of your reality, then you will constantly be at the receiving end, seemingly. And therefore, living within the prison of your own language, of your own beliefs, of your own energetic constraints, all of which can be changed in a second. But it's up to you. And if you haven't already...
And that's exactly what I realized over the 10, 11 plus years that I've studied this. And in fact, right now, I'm working with men right now. Actually, later on to the day, I'm going to post one of the reviews that I have for one of my students here, because that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. It's like, when you've been studying this like I have, you're a student, a teacher, and practitioner in the game. Okay. And when you recognize that, when you get results for yourself, you could get results for other people. And it wasn't until I started getting results for other people that I realized, like, wait a minute, this isn't just me. This is a real thing that works. Okay. And so I suggest that you guys go look at my past videos where I talk about growth. I talk about journaling, because those are one of the foundation. It's the foundation if you're trying to turn your life around or put your life and get to the next level. All right. If you guys like this video, like that video, put down in the comment section more like this if you want me to make content like this. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Peace out.